I was probably in a position where I was just kind of floundering around a little bit. I'd been going to the gym on and off ad hoc for years, had personal trainers before, but I'd kind of lost a bit of momentum. So what I did was I kind of approached Mike originally and I started PTing with him. It was great because obviously I had the motivation for the gym, but wasn't really losing any weight, wasn't gaining any weight, but wasn't really losing anything. And I knew in my mind that I'd approached him for a reason. I've never really had like a diet plan at all. I just thought I could manage this on my own, but clearly that doesn't happen because you're fine for a week or two, you think everything's going well, you make some like dietary changes, but before you know it, you're back into your old habits again. And then again, with training programs, I've done 12-week programs before, particularly in previous gyms that I've been to. Obviously at the end of it, they don't last, because they're not making changes. You're just being kind of shouted at in essence, aren't you? You're just in a group of people, so it's never really individualized. So it's great, obviously, in the initial stages, but no one's giving you that advice. So I suppose that's where it all kind of falls down, really, when you come out of it. Never really paying much attention to it. So, I mean, it's probably been going on for about 3 or 4 years and just gradually like putting more on and more on and more on. The moment for me was obviously when I then decided to take up with Mike, and I just thought it has to change now. Something has to change because I can't carry on going on like this. My dad died quite early in his early 50s, and I just thought I kind of don't want to be going down that path, which I can kind of see in some respects. So I just thought this is the wake-up call. Yeah, so I suppose it's just kind of general activity and things like that, because I used to seem to have a lot of energy. I was struggling, was coming more out of breath when I was walking up the stairs in particular. I was finding some of the walks, even though we're still doing them, they were proving somewhat difficult in comparison to what they used to be like. I used to be able to go to the gym 3 times a week, I had loads of energy, I could carry my back, we'd go walking with the dog a lot. So yeah, I probably started to become a bit lazy. When we first talked about it, and he said it would entail like having a coaching call once a week, and we'd set some aims, and these are the goals, and I'll get you to this, to your target. And I just thought, well, one, I'm not really sure how that's going to work. Just by talking to somebody like over a video chat, I'm not really sure how that's going to be. I wasn't sure whether I'd be able to do it on my own. Was one of the things, without having somebody there to kind of keep almost setting you a program, because I kept thinking to myself, well, I'm not really sure what I should be doing. So there were all these kind of little cynical kind of niggles in my mind. So that they were some of the issues that I thought I would have with him. But I think more so than anything was being on my own. How was I going to do it on my own? I think if I was just to continue PTing without the coaching, I don't think I would have been any different. Yes, I would have felt great in the fact that I was going to the gym, but I wouldn't have lost the weight. That has to stop at some point, because if you're not seeing the results from PT, then, you need to question what is it that you're doing. And I just think, at some point I would have stopped PTing, probably maintained it for a couple of weeks, and then probably found myself in exactly the same position as I was before. So yeah, I think the coaching has definitely been a win-win situation for me, really. From the initial conversation, I think, like I was saying, from the PTs that I was having, I wasn't really achieving anything because I didn't really have a goal. I didn't really know what it was that I wanted from PTing. But then obviously once we had that chat and I told him what it was that I would like to achieve, he kind of just pushed my boundaries a little bit and kind of gave me a larger target and said, well, I can help you achieve more than that, so I think this is what we can do. What do you think? What are your thoughts around it? I had a bit of a break, went away, kind of mulled over the situation, and rang him back and I just said, let's do this. I didn't really give it that much thought. I think just because he was so confident about the results that he could get you and what he was doing with other clients, I just thought, well, I've worked with you for 6 months. I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to trust my instincts, and I'm going to go work with you, and let's see where this goes. So in terms of the structure for the program, it would involve a weekly coaching call between ourselves. And within that, we'd have a bit of a conversation, about what it was that I was hoping to achieve and what had worked for me in the past and what hadn't. And then from those coaching calls each week, we would set between ourselves 3 aims for the week ahead. Those aims could be something as an individual, or we did them together based on some of the conversations that we would have. At the end of that call, we would then do reflective documents. So there would always be a piece of homework in essence that we would work on. I'd email that back to him, and it just gave you more of accountability, really. Like Mike's program is nothing that I've ever tried before at all. You know, it's the things that I've done previously have always been heavily kind of PT led. So kind of come into the program and work with Mike and deal with some of the things that we've dealt with in terms of looking at like weekly aims, some of the work that we've done together in terms of the documentation and things like that. It was almost like revolutionary. I've never seen anything like it before. I've never heard of anything like online coaching before either, but you know, it's definitely worth signing up for and taking that plunge, because like I say, I was really skeptical about these before and after pictures and the results that you get in such a short period of time. I never really believed it, but now that I've done it and I've seen it for myself, I just think this is the way forward, really. PTing is great, don't get me wrong, I do really enjoy the PT aspect of it, but the coaching program has just been phenomenal, you know, because it really has made a real difference to me. I suppose the only thing that I didn't like about the program were some of the pieces of work that we had to do, but apart from that, there isn't anything to dislike, you know, and even that as a dislike is minor, you know, because people will probably look at this or start the program and do some of this piece of work and think, well, what were the real concerns, you know, because they are fairly straightforward. But I think the difficulty for me was probably talking and putting down on paper about me and what I wanted to achieve, because it's not something that I've ever done before. In terms of Mike as a coach, I thought he was fantastic. Like I say, I've worked with him for 6 months previous to joining this. He has just been absolutely fantastic to work with. He's given me loads of confidence. He has made me believe in myself, really. And I know that sounds really ridiculous, but he really has, you know, just to someone to talk to. He's always been there if I've needed him. He's always checked in every now and again, like outside of the coaching calls. Nothing's ever been too much of a worry or a bother for him. He was confident in like you as an individual. He was interested in what you wanted to do. He always wanted to do good for you. You know, he could see what you couldn't see. And that's what I really enjoyed about it. It feels fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And like I say, I've lost more than what I'd set out to achieve at the beginning of the 12 weeks. Now that at the end of the 12 weeks, I've already set myself another goal. You know, I didn't think I was going to be able to achieve 6. So to do 7 in 12 weeks, as easily as I have done as well, you know, because nothing has been hard work. I don't feel like there's been any major sacrifices. I've just found the whole 12 weeks so easy to follow that I just think, right, if I can do 7 in 12 weeks, then I can do the rest. So that's my new goal. So I feel absolutely fantastic for it. I really do. So for anybody that's considering it, I would say definitely get in touch with Mike. You know, it's worth having that initial conversation. Like I say, I was very skeptical at the beginning myself. I never thought the program would work. Can't talk highly enough of him or of the program itself, you know, and what we've actually been able to achieve in 12 weeks. Don't hesitate. Definitely just have that conversation. You know, you've got nothing to lose. You know, I jumped in, you know, after 6 months working with him. I thought, well, you know, I've PT'd for 6 months. You know, what's 12 weeks? Let's give that a shot and see what happens. And the results have just been fantastic. I cannot thank him enough for it. I feel as though there's almost like a veil been lifted, and it's like I can see things differently, and things are just easier. You know, like I say, I've got more time to do things at home, and I've got, you know, we're planning more things to do as the family, like I was saying, and I am just more energetic and physically and mentally fitter. That's how I feel about this. I've never once felt like I was on a diet. I have never ever felt like I've had to sacrifice anything. I think what it has taught me to is just look at what it was that I was eating. I do eat what I want to eat, and yet still managed to have lost, it's like 7 kilos in 12 weeks. So yeah, never once felt like I was on a diet at all. I have Mike to thank for a lot, really. I believe, like working with Mike, he's just changed so much that it's difficult to put into words. But he's given me so much more confidence in me. I feel more energetic about the whole thing. I feel like I say, he's probably changed me at a really fundamental point, because obviously, I was concerned that I was becoming unhealthy and that I was going down a very slippery road, really, to ill health if I wasn't being careful. So for him to come in and to work with me for those 12 weeks and change me to the person that I am, that I used to be, I can't thank him enough for that, because potentially he's stopped me from becoming unwell and probably getting to a point where I probably wouldn't have been able to turn it around. I would have been really entrenched in my old ways, my old habits. Whereas now it's a completely different story. I've just got a completely different viewpoint on what it is that I want and how I can get there and how I'm going to achieve that. I am really proud of myself. Yeah. Again, it's a bit jarring, that, because that's something that you wouldn't necessarily, or for me anyway, it's not necessarily self-praise is like my forte. I'm proud for taking the step, really, in the first place, but I'm really proud of the achievements, like on the weight loss so far. And I'm just proud of the fact that, I do feel like it's very difficult to convey in a conversation, but like how passionate I am about this, that this 12 weeks has been and what I've achieved and what that's now given me. I'm so pleased about what's happened and how my mentality has changed in 12 weeks. It's just really, really hard to put into words. Now that I've done it and I've come out the other side, I can't recommend him highly enough to people that are really unsure. Just do it. It's 12 weeks. You've got nothing to lose, but a hell of a lot to gain for it at the end of it.